Most Christians would never say they don't need God, but many live like it every single day. Not because they're rebellious, not because they're filled with so much sin, but because they've stopped praying. And a prayerless life, whether we admit it or not, is a life drifting toward practical atheism. A prayerless life is so dangerous. God invites you back into a life of power, of intimacy, and dependence. The greatest threat to your spiritual life isn't always sin. It isn't always temptation or even suffering. The great threat to your spiritual life is silent. It's the silence of a life without prayer. A prayerless life denies our dependence on God. John 15:5. Jesus said something radical. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Not some things, not most things. You can do nothing. When we pray, we're saying, God, I need you. But when we stop praying, we're saying, I've got this. And that's pride. Even if it doesn't feel like pride, that's exactly what pride looks like. Think about it. Jesus prayed constantly. David prayed constantly. The early church, they prayed constantly. But many of us today are trying to live spiritually on airplane mode. Where in your life have you stopped depending on God? A prayerless life weakens our relationship with God. Jesus didn't say if you pray, he said when you pray. See, discipleship is relationship, and no relationship survives without communication. When you stop praying, you don't just lose discipline, you lose closeness. Jesus prayed early in the morning. He prayed before decisions. He prayed in sorrow. He prayed in joy. How can we live without it? A prayerless life leaves you spiritually unarmed. Ephesians 6:18. Paul lists the armor of God, and then he says, pray at all times. Prayer isn't just a part of the armor. Prayer activates the armor. A prayerless Christian is a defenseless Christian. Satan doesn't fear a busy Christian. He doesn't even fear a knowledgeable Christian. What he fears is a praying Christian. Are you fighting spiritual battles with earthly weapons, or are you fighting spiritual battles with your most powerful spiritual weapon? Prayer. A prayerless life is rooted in unbelief. Hebrews 11:6. Most people don't stop praying because they're rebellious. Most people don't stop praying because they're discouraged. There's hidden beliefs that are creeping in to believers. God won't answer. God doesn't care. My situation is too small. My situation is too big. These aren't just thoughts. They're beliefs, and they're unbelief. And unbelief always silences prayer. Prayerlessness is practical atheism. Believing in God with your mind, but living as if he doesn't exist, as if I don't believe. A prayerless life contradicts the life of Jesus. Jesus often withdrew to pray, not occasionally, but often. He prayed before miracles. He prayed before decisions. He prayed during suffering, during joy. The disciples saw the connection between his power and they said, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray. When we stop praying, we stop following Jesus' example. Prayerlessness isn't a scheduling problem. It's a spiritual problem. But God doesn't call you back with guilt. He calls you back with grace. He's not angry that you haven't prayed. He's eager to meet with you again. He's eager to meet your needs. He's eager to show himself strong. See, revival begins with prayer. Renewal begins with prayer. Restoration begins with prayer. Lord, teach us to pray. Draw us back to you. Make us a people who depend on you, walk with you, fight through you, and trust you. Restore our prayer life and restore our hearts. In Jesus' mighty name. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone else who needs it. Drop a comment telling me what part hit home for you. And if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe, because we're just getting started.